Check. All right. Good morning. It's Sunday, the 24th, and we're just going to do some technical analysis, create some sort of a plan, and go from there. With the, all right. So here we've got the Dow. Never tapped into that inversion, but I mean, it already came down into a discount, so kind of stupidly misanalyzed that last week. But yeah, we came down into that. We've obviously reversed. We've had quite the move last week on the daily. There is a daily fair value gap here, inversing this fair value gap. So this would be a really strong area, I would think, if we were to like suddenly retrace. Um, we've taken out these highs here, which were used for lots of SMT. So I'm going to keep that in mind for where we're at on the other charts to see what's happening here. But yeah, nice big displacement. We'll see what happens if we rebalance this candle. Possibly 4-hour fair value gap here, confirmed. 4-hour. Listen to music in headphones. All right. Yeah. Now we're taking out this high um, into this wick. We'll have to see if this was a significant level earlier, but obviously we just have these all-time highs we're going for. Not sure what this line is. Maybe some smaller time frame idea. Um, we did have a failed shift here, but it did end up holding price, though we did take out the low. But yeah, a nice 4-hour fair value gap. Nothing on this smaller time frame on there on the 1 hour. I mean, but yeah, this looks pretty clean down here. Relative equal highs. We've got a little bit of a smooth highs here. So you could note that. And yeah, we came down. We haven't really shifted above this. I don't know what that high is, and this level is too small to care about. But yeah, we definitely took these out, and we'll stop there on the 15-minute. Nothing really else to note other than maybe down here and maybe the order blocks here. I mean, this is technically a propulsion block, so maybe a trade. Oh, actually, yeah. Yeah, this is, this is an order block, clearly. We traded through it, respected the CE of that. We'll have to see if there's any SMTs here, but I mean, this is technically a propulsion block. Uh, well, here, we respected that. Came back up, came back down, but I just like the way we displaced through this, so I'd rather prefer this one, especially since it's kind of later in the PM session there. So yeah, we could look for a soup beneath this low, lining that up with some structure in here. So yeah, definitely an area of interest, at least on the smaller time frame. Let's turn that orange. So I'm just gonna note that quickly. And yeah, we'll use the bottom of that. But yeah, I mean, that's smooth highs there. Could easily take that out. We've got smooth highs down here though too, so not gonna just trade a excuse me, a propulsion block for no reason. Would have to line it up. All right, yeah, that's basically all I see though. Possible propulsion block there. I mean, we had an order block here, propulsion block here. We trade through it, respect the CE of that, break out again. We had already taken out these highs, so I actually kind of like this idea, at least somewhat. It's not usually my typical setup though, so we're not gonna get too excited about it. But yeah, there's the Dow Jones. Let me take some notes on that real quick. Dow Jones flipped bullish, definitely looking for the all-time highs. As we know, we had SMT giving this the move, and so far no clear continued shifts. Yeah, so no clear shifts though, but the structure there with the order blocks looks pretty good. And we'll move on. It's actually going to start with Russell. And actually going back to the YM, we're still in the same month. So interestingly, we're still kind of displacing above this last month. Oh man, keep yawning. Oh, also, before we forget again, just gonna look at the stock ticker. Daily, cool, cool. Maybe there's an SMT there that we are not aware of. Whoops. So Tuesday was the low. Tuesday was the low. Okay, nothing there. All right. Anyways, yeah, we souped those lows. Looks pretty clean. Um, extended trading hours. Maybe there is one now. Tuesday the 19th is the low. Okay, there is not. Okay. Anyways, yeah, clearly breaking out here. I'm pretty sure we're near all-time highs. Oh, sorry, I thought I was on a different chart. Whoops. Okay, sorry. Got a little confused there. So yeah, Dow Jones breaking out. Looks pretty similar. Um, definitely gonna be some gaps down there, but we'll quickly check regular trading hours for that. So small gap here. It did get slightly traded into, but not all the way. Other than that, there's nothing. Cool. All right, now we're moving on to ES. So ES, or Russell, holy shit, dude. Russell, it souped these old relative equal highs, makes sense. And we did reject off of this higher time frame PDA, but I'm thinking this totally gets traded through. Um, on this stock chart, we just have relative equal highs, so that's very clear. We're definitely gonna soup that. You know, something like, well, something like, we come up, we did reject, entice shorts, take those out. Who knows what we do at the highs? But yeah. So looking for the soup of the highs here, obviously as the obvious draw, But as you can see on the weekly, we've come down, rebalanced the inefficiency into old relative equal highs. Technically, that's an amazing setup there. Definitely is going to play out. You could have easily just bought calls here at the bottom, which I fucked that up. Yeah, we're shifting here. We've inverted all of these fair value gaps. Nothing on the weekly to note. Yeah, this is a fair value gap here. This one we can just ignore. And there was an old relative regular trading hours thing there. Let's clean some of this stuff up. This has been traded into since, so we can move that. And this is all just kind of stuff that we don't need. Good enough. So yeah, we're displacing higher. We've souped this little range there. Let's see what else is happening. Oh, might as well mark out this. It's been traded through. Don't care about it. And that's also been traded through. So nothing on the regular trading hours to care about. Don't know what just happened there. Must have grabbed it. All right. So these were the highs here. I think this was the high on Dow Jones. Yeah. So we haven't taken this out. So we could easily have, an SMT reversal here because technically we do have SMT with the Dow Jones being stronger. So that is there. Just going to keep that in mind. And especially if we take this high, which we could take all these highs and we would have SMT all the way up. But that's where you got to be careful because you don't just want to short just off of SMT. Okay. Russell. 4 hour, we've got some fair value gaps there. We got this one completely confirmed. For hour. All right, and then we got this one down here. Well, first the daily. Okay, yeah. These are just the confirmed ones so far. Let me get rid of all this stuff. We'll leave that there. So yeah, I've gotten sell side liquidity there. Let's just move that up into there. That's the next one. I'm actually going to change this because this is the SMT. So we're just going to really note that level as significant. So yeah, just going to note that at least until just as an opposing idea if we do get some sort of short. This is the prior rejection level 2 from the old 4 hour, and this is the order block. So it makes sense that we're digging into that. Just going to renote that and turn that red again. So, so yeah, definitely have the drawn liquidity up here though still. We've got 4 hours shifting above these highs. There's a nice long there. 1 hour chart. We got some small relative equal lows there. So note that. Old, this has totally been displaced through, so these probably aren't that important. But yeah, nice just shifting through. So far, same thing as Dow. We haven't confirmed continuation at these highs yet, and this is a new week opening gap down here. So this is lining up pretty nicely for a possible short-term short. especially since we still haven't got those clear SMTs at the lows. So maybe my thesis is still correct for a short because YM has taken out these highs, ES, NASDAQ have not, Russell has interim high, intermediate term high. So we'll be looking at this to really figure out what's happening. It's almost like ES or NASDAQ want to just come and break this low to give us that SMT. So maybe that's what's happening. So yeah, Russell shifting higher looks great for the higher time frame continuation. We are looking a bit weak, but so yeah, I mean, this is significant, but um, we do want to keep in mind what's been happening here at the smaller time frames. You know, we've had SMT through here into these highs, which did give, you know, some short opportunities, but they were actually way better longs. So that's kind of the thesis I have right now is we are resouping these highs, or these lows, I mean, and you could even raise this up to here. Can even say here. But anyways, we're resouping this area of interest. Um, this is where we had SMT, and yeah, so just gotta keep in touch with what's happening on the lower time frames. So yeah, 15-minute, yeah, nice clean relative equal lows there. Probably gonna come and soup that. That could line up with the YM idea I had kind of with the propulsion block. Little propulsion block here, kind of. Trade up through that propulsion. Nice order block here. So that's pretty significant. And all on top of a 4-hour fair value gap. So that would line up. But yeah, nothing really else to note. The only thing I like is those highs. Lunch and PM session. Excuse me. Cool. Not much else to really note there. IWM. Don't know what that is. Old bearish for value. You know what? I'm gonna set an alert here. Because if IWM takes that out, I'm good enough to ignore that level. But yeah, nothing really there on the stock index chart. New week opening gap being traded into. Oh, same sort of levels happening. Same relative equal lows. So just gonna keep in mind what's happening here. Cool. All right. Yes. ES did not create a fair value gap there, though there was a regular trading hours inefficiency. And yeah, we're getting a move higher. Oh, well, I'll just delete that now. So yeah, we did the same thing as Russell. We came and souped these old highs. Looks pretty nice. We had SMT into here, not necessarily at the lows, but and yeah, now we've just been chopping in this pretty hard. So on the daily, we do have this bearish shift still intact with no SMT down here. So that's why I'm still thinking short could still be in play. But as we've been seeing, there's been SMTs and they have not been playing that well. So I think they might provide an initial short, but then the invalidation would be the next bullish SMT, which could have worked amazing last week if you did that. So all right, lots of crap on here. Time to clean it up. All right. So yeah, we do have a daily shift here. It's not invalidated until I mean, all these candles have been green, so it's not looking good. It's been completely filled in, but at the same time, it's completely respecting it at the same time. So very tricky. If you're looking short, that's what you want to see. So that's the trouble there. Um, very ugly range. There's no inefficiencies, lots of wicks. These were old relative equal lows. So you could expect this to soup this, tap into these nested order blocks. I mean, this is lined up perfectly in the CE of that order block. So that's interesting. No displacement to the upside, no structural shifts. Um, just I forgot. The daily doesn't have one, but we do have this one, obviously, and we did respect it. So higher time frame, we are still more bullish than bearish, clearly, but we do have this opposing argument in play, and these are the highs for the SMT on YM. Yeah, nothing on the higher time frame internal range to look bullish. This was a shift, but it didn't market structure shift it above that high. And we came down and took out that low, so that doesn't look good. But yeah, we are moving up. On the 1 hour, there was a shift, and that got respected. But ever since then, there's been nothing. We also have a wedge-looking thing happening here. Maybe not necessarily right at that low, but so yeah, some wedge-looking thing happening here. So yeah, that would make a lot of sense if this high tags these order blocks, holds the bearish SMT while Dow Jones breaks the all-time high, and then boom, we head all the way back down. That would make a lot of sense. So just gonna keep that in mind. I'm not gonna be longing ES most likely. I'm not gonna be longing NASDAQ most likely. There's just no clear shifts there, or yeah, shifts and SMT on the higher time frame. So So yeah, things aren't looking good for ES. I think we're gonna soup these highs. That looks just too clean to me. We'll most likely take out this high. That'll be my trigger to look for a short. See what else we're doing. And then, well, yeah, we'll take a look at the flows once we analyze all these charts. Super choppy price action, very terrible, nightmare of a price action. um, Relative equal highs all in here, so obvious. Sheesh. I'm gonna get rid of this just because it's making the chart look like crap. Cool. Um, so yeah, that's not looking good for longs. Obviously, we'll take a look at S&T too later. But zooming in into this range, we've got the true day open lining up here. We got relative equal highs lining up here with the order block nested inside of the order block. So it's just not looking good. So, I mean, it is looking good for me. It's looking good for me, man. But yeah, we got this wedge thing happening. Maybe it's not, right there. Maybe it's right here. And maybe this is like already already shifting out. No, 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 no. I don't like that. These are hard to do. That's why I don't trade them. This just could just be a channel, but this makes sense here to me, especially if you use this one. So, yeah. And that would make sense because ES comes down, takes out this low, while NASDAQ takes out the real low, and then bing, bang, boom, we got the long idea for a higher time frame long. Just out of curiosity, VIX coming down, taking out the lows. Very interesting there. Could be ready for a nice little bounce. And this has been previous area of interest that we souped down here. We've broken out, traded into inefficiencies. Now we're taking out that range down into an order block, into a new opening gap, into this order block that sent us into the lows of the liquidity. So VIX could easily spike. Whoops. Cool. So yeah, 15-minute, just really choppy. This isn't not the stuff that I like to trade. This could still go up, still could provide longs, but not, this is just, there's nothing very clear. And that's what I need to trade, is clarity. So yeah, ES doesn't look that bullish, though it easily could break out, and, it does have that higher time frame draw liquidity to keep going higher. But I'm just thinking it may head lower first to be a tough market, but we'll see. We'll see. If we came down, that'd be pretty big, you know. Oh, that's only 2%. Never mind. Wow. Putting way too much weight on this range, dude. But yeah, it would make sense to come lower again. Oh, especially because pretty sure we still have those lows there. No, we soup those. Yeah, we soup these. But yeah, I mean this was a nice soup, but it does seem like it could easily go lower. So backing down into this new week opening gap. Doesn't need to, but just keeping that in mind. While we're here, is there any levels here of interest? We've got a more clear wedge shaping up here. Could just use that eye for simplicity's sake. So yeah, nice wedge thing forming here. We're already into that area of interest on this chart. So maybe just a tad higher and yeah, we head lower. This would be a massive short opportunity. Higher time frame, this looks good for a short. Um, What we'd want to see is a smaller time frame bearish SMT as well. So that would be the trigger to get short. I think it's worth a try for regular size. So that's looking good to me. Also, the SMT that we did get in NASDAQ was shorter time frame. It was internal to the range, to the intermediate term range. So it makes sense we're going up, but that doesn't mean we're going to go all the way up. If we SMT'd the actual low of the dealing range, then of course that makes sense to go to the highs. But NASDAQ's been stalling. We have SMT on the Qs at least into this um, gap. So, and this higher time frame wedge is kind of holding, man. All right, stop giving me. Okay, I guess that's why I drew it right there. Takes out the lows, takes out the highs, takes out the lows, and then maybe we finally get a short. I mean, on the higher time frame, this looks good for a big short. Anywho, let's look at NASDAQ. So yeah, we do have relative equal highs, sort of, though that is deep enough to be skeptical. And we did use this wedge idea, retail idea, to look at that as a soup, and makes sense for us to, still soup this high again, but we'll see. So much stuff, man. I need to really clean this up. Old relative equal lows. Old crap. Delete that alert. We can keep that. That's a daily fair value. Oh, that's the inverse fair value gap there. Okay, yeah, that nailed that. Nice and clean. All right, and we can get rid of all this junk. And we'll leave that. Oh. All right, but yeah, this has basically been filled in. There's just a tad left. Regular trading hours gap is going to be filled in most likely. Weekly, so yeah, weekly we've just come back down, rebalanced the candle, and held the daily inefficiency levels. And yeah, we got that wedge looking thing happening here. We don't have, we do have a structural shift here though. That did get traded into. Um, and was disrespected, which is why this is so confusing. But yeah, we do still have that daily bearish inefficiencies above us. We have the SMT highs still intact. We have old relative equal lows. Those have already been souped, so not going to care. And yeah, the daily has just been really tough. But yeah, we'll see what happens here. 1 hour chart, finally zooming into this. We have not taken out this level yet, and we do have some relative equal highs in here. So those will most likely be taken, maybe for our final move up to get short into, maybe. As for bullishness, no shifts, no nothing. We do have the SMT, but as structure, this is just so ugly. It's not worth really diving into. Relative equal lows here. These were what I was trying to short into the other day. Took some losses there. I'm gonna mark those though. I think those are still interesting. Yeah, that's it. As well, why do I keep doing that? I need a send alert. So yeah, you know what? Actually, turn off the alert. I'll just use a regular alert. All right. So yeah, maybe a short opportunity setting up in NASDAQ makes sense. Cool. That's about it for just the charts. Now we can look for SMT and look at the flow. So NASDAQ, um, similar to ES, looking bearish still, as well as QQQ has cleanly souped the all-time highs. So this could easily be a short still. Which, I mean, if I had traded short on NASDAQ here instead of the YM, I would have no problems. That would have been way better for me, at least. Clear target here below these equal lows. Easily would have reached for these because there's these lows. Easily going to soup these next ones. Easily could have gone art there. That would have been so obvious. So, kind of sucks. But, so yeah, we'll be looking short. So, kind of a little summary. Looking shorts on ES and NQ, preferably NQ, and longs on RTY and YM. It's basically the summary of my bias. But now we gotta deep dive into what's happening here. So we already know there's no SMT on the higher time frame, but as we zoom in to the current ranges that have shifts in here. So we have made higher highs. Russell has failed here, which is a little bit telling. Relative equal lows here. That's our little propulsion block there. Obviously, we gotta look at these guys too. So yeah, we had, man, relative strength here in the Russell, which was the long opportunity, which led to the move higher. And Nasdaq's the only one that hasn't really taken out this high yet, but it's just about there. It'll most likely soup all that. So yeah, it is looking a little interesting if you're wanting to get short. Um, Equal highs here, equal highs there. Higher lows there, higher lows. There was an SMT here. So yeah, makes sense. Nasdaq would shoot a bit higher. There was some relative strength here in the Dow. But zooming out, maybe to the 1 hour, just to get the bearish footing. So these highs on yeah, these are these highs. So very far away. So yeah, we'd look for maybe ES comes and soups up into here relative to NASDAQ, and NASDAQ stays below because it's already here. It soups these highs. Dow Jones makes a new high. You know, maybe we get a pullback long. Looking at, I need to look at this a little bit more. So we have S&T here, very clearly. That is the low. So we got to use this range. We displace out of this range. We don't really get it on the Dow, but at least here we did get it. So yeah, the Dow is just making higher highs. Um, I think we need more information. Smaller time frame, I don't really know how I would ever trade this. It's yeah, there's lows. You know, we could get SMT there. Um, but I'd really want to see Nasdaq dumping. And if I don't know, yeah, kind of tricky. So yeah, I mean that is an area of interest here, but I don't think I have much more to say about it. We have we'd have to see the way we come down there. I mean, we've souped this. Makes sense to come down. If we keep this high here, I mean that's a target for Russell along. But it is still very tricky. I think I do like the higher time frame short still on Nasdaq. So let's look at the flow. Maybe that'll help us. All right. The flow trades have been in Nasdaq too, by the way. So SPY puts on top all day while we've been chopping. Calls selling off most of the premium and puts. Very bullish or very bearish. Um, Calls started to sell off at the end of the day, and the tide looks like they're just following price here. So that looks bearish for SPY. Qs, that looks bearish for Qs. You know, we did follow price here. We flattened out. Most of the volume is in calls, but taking a look at that, it looks like they are buying calls. Um, and it flattened out here when price mostly did trade down, but that would just make sense for a move up and then like a reversal. So Russell bearish flow too. Very odd. Yeah. Lower low in the calls. No, that kind of held. But yeah, that's pretty bearish. Where they might have been just taking profit. Looks like these were mostly far out expiries. Okay. See if there's anything on the Dow. Whoa, Dow calls absolutely skyrocketing. So that's good. But puts are on top. Though that is a they started out very positive. Well, this flow isn't significant enough for me anyways. This is a little bit, but it's not like anything crazy. So yeah, I mean, there's the bearish flows there that you want to see. I'd want to see this probably at least the last few days. Yeah, they have been ramping up the puts here, night and day. Like that is so obvious. I wish they had a filter by date. Um, yeah, puts are definitely rising with this. You know, calls, the volume in puts here is just astronomical. And then puts flat, you know, dump there. Boom, they bought back in there. So what if we compared um, Nasdaq and Russell? So Russell has taken out this interesting high where we had the signal to get short. Um, so like for example, this sell-off here was an obviously strength in the Russell. So if we see Nasdaq really coming up and Russell's barely moving and some sort of SMT occurs, like ES takes out this high and Russell doesn't, that would be actually pretty interesting for a short. And then yeah, seeing the Dow be weak. So that's like the inverse idea from what we saw down there. That's usually what's been happening is the rotation has been in. If you just look, oops, it's just been from tech to breadth. So like, okay, kind of hard to explain, but we would need an SMT. So yeah, these are the areas of interest. We have taken one out, but we've also taken out on YM. So it really is this high here. And I think that lines up with everything, if we start to see Russell sell off and then create a lower high on the bounce, and we're getting higher highs, you know, um, then yeah, that would be a nice little short in Russell. That would line up with the flow. So, gonna note that in my notes. Look for relative in the NQ versus RTY to maybe get short in RTY, but not super high odds. So most likely get short NQ. Yeah, I'd still get short NASDAQ. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to short Russell. I mean, it would make sense internal range, but I would really expect the SMT to occur down here in the NASDAQ. Yeah, so we got areas of interest here. We're already in one. Could easily Sunday could easily open and give us that long, but I'm not going to trade it. As for news, of course, that's important. We have this week. We have nothing on Monday, but coming off last week, we did have PMI on Friday. So just Monday can still be good here, especially because we've got meeting minutes and GDP. So this is going to be a big week. Monday should still probably be good to trade, but just at the open. So this is a really good week to trade, I think. For news, oh, it looked like it was all week, but it's only Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I'll most likely only trade the beginning of the week and Thursday, Friday, that's Thanksgiving, Black Friday. Not going to trade that. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll be looking for trades. Um, if we're going to get a short, I'd be looking for a weekly reversal profile. So midweek, Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we'd get the short. Monday, Monday into Tuesday, we could end up going higher first. But if we're going to be bullish, the opposite. So we'd look for a pullback into Monday, and then we'd look for buying opportunities in Russell and the Dow. So just keeping that in mind. Other things to note is like the VIX. That's pretty interesting. VIX came really deep. Um, Bitcoin starting to reverse at the highs, fading that 100K level that everybody wants it to get to. Nice reversal here on Ethereum. This is exactly what I want. I want this to dip down. And what else? Nvidia, just for fun. Yeah, probably wants those lows. Took out the high. All right, quickly just to review these charts, see if there's anything I missed. Nope. Qs into that gap. Dow Jones, basically at all-time highs. Cool. IWM, same thing as Russell. SPX, big gap there, been rebalanced. Big gap down here too, so it makes sense to come for that as well. Cool, I think that's, whoa, scared me. That's about it. Um, and yeah, the dollar's an interesting area too. Dollar's been rallying. Um, I would like to compare that to maybe the Dow or something. So we'll put the dollar. Let's put the dollar here. Whoa, okay. So since September, dollar's been rallying, so have stocks. Um, but the dollar is facing a major reversal area. Interesting there. So maybe a better comparison would be like bonds, maybe. Just to look at that. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. The only thing that is pretty clear is the move in gold. Gold has been in a bull market, just like everything else. It's having the same chops, but if we compare it to NASDAQ, it's probably even cleaner. No, it's not. No. Comparing it to Russell, nice SMT with gold there. Just out of curiosity. So there's finally some relative weakness in, oh, whoops. Because gold has just been relatively pretty strong and been following the market. And then this was a little bit uncharacteristic. You know, they both sold off. You know, gold is sometimes a little delayed though. You know, it has been making higher highs. So what would be interesting is if this does surprise everybody and reverse here while these guys make all-time highs. So that would be different. That would change kind of the market that we're in. So I don't really keep track of gold, so I'm not really that interested, but that is interesting though to note that what's happening there. So let's change this back. And just to look at gold on, you know, monthly maybe. I did rebalance this inefficiency, But on the weekly, it does have a market structure shift. Oh, never mind. That got filled in. Daily, we do, which these do end up giving a move, and it already did. But yeah, anyways, that's just interesting to know. Cool. All right, that's about it. Looking for some more price action to decide what I'm going to do here. It does seem like we could easily create a short opportunity, and any short opportunities would also be long entries for YM and Russell. That's the thesis. We do have some smaller time frame levels as well as the higher time frame. We do have like, old relative equal highs here maybe here. So that could be an area of interest on the Dow. Um, Same thing with Russell. So just keeping a note on that. So yeah, and then that would make sense there too. So pretty hard though. The range has just been expanding. It looks like these guys are gonna at least head higher. We could look for, a long. Once Nasdaq takes these lows out, that could be a long for Russell and the Dow too. So we'll be looking at that. Obviously, if we SMT. So, anyways, that's what I'll be looking for. Nothing really clear right now. We need a little bit more price action, but that's fine. All right, adios.